In this vast ocean of video games, it's hard to keep track of every single title that releases. And as a person who doesn't take too much interest in games in the Metroidvania genre, hopping into ninesols was the equivalent of throwing a person with zero survival skills into the middle of the Amazon rainforest. But after giving the game a few hours of getting lost, there was something that ninesols did that awakened me from my Metroidvania stupor. And I'd like to share with you the exact moment that made ninesols not only my favorite Metroidvania, but also the best game I've played this year.
How are you doing, dear brother? Is it day or night where you are right now? What does the sky look like out there? I've never left Xia, so I've always felt envious whenever you told me about all those faraway places. I didn't have many friends my age when I was a kid. The grass, the trees, the sky, and the stars were what kept me company whenever you were away. Remember when I first told you about hearing the roots sing? You thought I was hallucinating from being alone all the time.
This moment's dialogue, scenery, and music were all wrapped up in a complete bundled present just waiting to be opened. It formed connections between the characters, the contrast between their ideologies, and an overall compelling reason to look deeper within than just calling it a Metroidvania Sekiro-like. While its parrying system was the hook to my initial intrigue, this game used that small inch just to show me something leagues greater than just the gameplay. It showed me life. From the moment of learning more about the protagonist E and his connections towards his sister Heng, it created a story centered around the protagonist's growth from only logical truths towards accepting spirituality. The dynamic between Heng's spiritual connection and E's logical deductions is what sets such a compelling foundation for the entire game. The emotional narrative carries immersive tension that forms between a brother focused on proving everything, with parents who only trust in faithful traditions, and a sister caught in between. It's honestly a lot. There's so much more to unpack from ninesols past this small moment, and while I'm not sure I'm going to do everything its justice than just getting you to experience it for yourself, I think it's about time to break away from this to talk more about the game in general. Ninesols at its core is a Metroidvania Sekiro-like where you play as E. E is a mysterious Fangshi who was betrayed by his own Solarian people in the very beginning of the story. Essentially being left for dead after falling from a treacherous height, E perishes, but it doesn't spell the end of his story. After being grabbed by the primordial roots lying in the cavern, he is progressively restored back to health. Eventually, a boy named Schwen goes to the Forbidden Cave playing a flute, which happens to awaken E from his healing slumber. After giving a second chance to live his life, E is insistent on making the criminals that betrayed him pay. But over the course of the journey, through many interpersonal interactions, he starts learning to become one with the way of Tao. First of all, can I just say how beautiful this game looks? I do not think I've seen anything stylistically like this in any indie game before. It's one that really creates a unique impression that is noticeable almost instantly. The setting of the game is based around a cyberpunk style mixed in with Eastern fantasy, thus forming what they call Taopunk. It's like mixing in crazy cybernetics with traditional Eastern aesthetics. It's kinda cool, and it definitely is one of the main things that personally kept my attention. They truly hammer in the cyberpunkish feel with all the crazy things that you will be coming across, and in some ways, it kind of gets horrific. It's one of the strongest points I have towards this game, which is an immersive environment to explore. Each of them holds their own unique style and flair relative to the Solarians governing them, and overall can create both positive and horrible memories to reflect on. More on that later. The main gameplay that ninesols centers itself around is parrying, and that could probably scare away quite a few gamers from playing this, but I assure you, this game is accessible. The combat is pretty simple for the most part. Your main attack is just a simple 3-hit combo, with the final hit doing the most damage. As for the parrying system, it is also pretty straightforward. When the enemy attacks, there's a flash indicating their upcoming assault, which alerts you to parry. It's a single tap of a button, and it prevents you from taking a single hit of damage when your timing is precise. However, if you do an imprecise parry, you take temporary damage that can be healed over time. But you do take the red health damage in full if the attack directly connects with you. But as you parry things, you gain this thing called chi. It allows you to use your talisman, which does a huge burst of damage at the cost of needing to be used carefully. So, in general, it's nothing too difficult, and they give you many tools to adjust for your needs in combat. They get you on this train pretty early to allow you to know what you're getting into, so if it doesn't link for you, well, get good. Just play better. Win more. Or play in story mode where you can dynamically adjust the damage values that you and the enemy can do at any time. See, I told you it was accessible. But not everything is as clear-cut as I make it out to be. This game at the end of the day is a Metroidvania, which means a ton of backtracking and more than likely getting lost. And as much as I love this game, I was still prone to this and actively built up 5 hours in one session trying to figure out where to fight the third boss. Besides that, this game is pretty linear as a Metroidvania. You are explicitly told and suggested where you should go, and as long as you keep that in mind, it's not really hard to stay on track. So, as a guy who prefers linearity, this game did a really good job of keeping me on track and ensuring I wasn't truly lost. But man, I have some grievances with some of the areas, specifically the transmutation facility and the Grotto of Scriptures. I had this running joke with myself that the map designer specifically wanted to ensure that the person playing was going to have the worst time possible. Many of the areas have enemies placed in the most inconvenient spots for the players to deal with, and it is unironically one of the main sources of difficulty in this game past the bosses. Maybe it's the gigantic enemies inside of a small area with falling crystals overhead. Maybe it's the flying enemies just out of reach to fight you while in an area built to torch you alive. Or maybe it's the furnaces blocking the outer edges of the room so that you can't just sit there and wait for the torching to be over to quickly pass through the area.
I hate the transmutation facility so much.
The bosses themselves are really fun and pretty challenging at points, but admittedly, some of them felt rushed and didn't feel like they were fully completed. It was mentioned by the developers that they did have to cut in some areas due to lack of resources, but overall, some were solid, some were a bit less. But you always know that the music that they hold in-game is strong and bliss. Some of my favorites were Stargazer, the one that you heard in the very beginning, Smile at My Cursed Dream, My Will Is Our Truth, The Lone Soul, and of course, ninesols. It's honestly quite surprising to see myself playing a game like this, and having it be more than just any other Metroidvania. You can easily tell there was a ton of care behind this game, and it's even crazier to recognize that this game wasn't created by no ordinary set of indie developers. No. These developers created 2 different horror games, Devotion and Detention, that were played by many popular YouTubers. It truly shows that indie devs have limitless potential in the things that they can create. This game means a lot to me. I've never played something that created such an intriguing storylines with characters that are absolutely lovable, and I've intentionally avoided talking about them as it's really an experience to see from your own eyes. This game is the best that I've played this year, and probably the best that I'll ever play this year. They created meaningful connections between the characters, the sometimes frustrating gameplay, and the overall narrative to create such a fulfilling experience that's gonna be hard to forget. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. You are now leaving Psyker's world. See you on your next visit.